Nation! Utah!
What's up, Leroy?
What is up? We had ourselves a draft party.
Oh, yeah, dude. This was a crazy week in Utah Mammoth.
Utah Mammoth, Slapshot Utah bringing it to you. This is one of the last main events of the hockey, or I don't know, is the draft the beginning of the new hockey season or the end of the original hockey season? Either way, we're going to have a long, hot summer.
Yeah, dude.
No hockey and nothing really going on.
Yeah, except for the other day when I went to sleep early because I'm like, oh, I'm kind of tired. And I woke up to, unfortunately, the Donors in a complete spiral on X.
Yeah.
Because
it was
the Mammoth traded Josh Doan and Kesselring for JJ Paterka.
Yeah. What do you think about that trade?
I like it. I mean, I really like Josh Doan, and I really like Kesselring. I think they're really good young. I mean, they're all young. I think all three of them are 23.
Ish. Yeah, something like that.
But, I mean, from what I see from Paterka, he really likes to put a puck in the back of a net.
That's what we need is to score some damn goals.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's the thing is that it's tough when your favorite players get traded.
Yeah, it sucks.
But let's talk hockey here. Kesselring and Doan were spare parts in the grand scheme of things. You know, Paterka, that's the guy that we need. He'd be like a first liner on half the teams in the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to probably put him on the second line.
Right. Yeah, I listened to a lot of like hot takes on YouTube. And they were all just like, I can't believe they got this without trading the number 4 pick as well.
Yeah, I heard a lot of surprise on that too, that it was just straight players and no number 4 pick. Of course, there was a lot of bluster about, that number 4 pick was going to be moved. And at the draft party, I was hearing that we were going to get Matt Barzal from the Islanders and all sorts of crazy stuff, which never materialized. But yeah, JJ Paterka trade, 5 years, $7.7 million a year. He's 23 years old. Number 77. Yeah. That's going to be a badass jersey.
Dude.
That's going to be a popular buy.
And I was curious to so I looked up his last 3 years of his stats, right?
Yeah.
So the 2022 season, 77 games played, 12 goals, 20 assists, so 32 points. 2023, 82 games, 28 goals, 22 assists, 50 points.
Yeah.
This last season, 77, 27 goals, 41 assists, and 68 points. So he went up 18 points every year. So going on that trajectory, we should be getting about 158 points from him by the end of his contract.
Dude, we are going to get so much value out of this trade and contract.
Yeah.
I mean, we need him and all of that. But the thing that I love just about this young team is that guy is on his upward trajectory. Cooley on the upward trajectory. Gunther on the upward trajectory.
Oh, yeah.
These could all potentially be all-star players. We could have the best top 6 in the NHL in the next few years if these guys hit. I mean, if you look at some of these big players like Draisaitl, McDavid, some of these guys, their career arcs look a little bit like, in their first 3 full seasons, a little bit like JJ Paterka. And I think Paterka, I think he was player of the tournament at that IIHF.
Yeah.
I think for a German kid. Yeah. Which I don't know if you noticed any of the film. He's got a really weird accent. Have you heard that?
Oh, yeah. I was not ready for his. I'm excited to get going for the Utah Mammoth.
It was like a German accent, but with this really exaggerated New York kind of sound to it. I might have to hear that.
Kind of like Sylvester the Cat, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you got to be excited about JJ Paterka. I know that there were a lot of people, a lot of fans who were
Yeah.
extremely upset. I think Randon Kerr said they were in shambles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it though, dude. I get upset when my favorite players get traded too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's like we have a certain special relationship with these players because it's like our inaugural season, rather.
yeah, I think so. Well,
Yeah.
and listen, that's one of the things that I think as fans we have to offer is that,
Yeah.
okay, like, Mitch Marner, I think we talked about this last episode, but Mitch Marner, he's from a toxic environment in Toronto. It's
Yeah.
not that he's a cancer so much as that Toronto itself is a toxic environment. And that's one of the things I think that Utah has as a fan base is that, even you look at the Jazz, we're really supportive of the players.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Ace Bailey, like the love that he's already seen after that
Bro.
NBA draft, like,
When he gets his first dunk and the Delta Center erupts, he's gonna be like, "Damn, I was a little wrong about."
I
Salt
was
Lake
wrong.
City."
Yeah, because we want to love our dudes.
Yeah.
And so
And we
it
want
goes
you to love us, so we're
yeah,
like, "Dude,
absolutely.
what's up?"
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's part of like what goes into us being able to attract free agents, and like why Pat McAfee kind of building us up with Ryan Smith on his show and everything.
That was
It's certainly,
awesome, by the way.
Yeah, it totally was. Like it helps the situation, and that even though it's disappointing and we attach ourselves easily to the donors and the Kessel rings, et cetera, like that's part of our personality makeup as fans is that we wrap our arms and completely adopt these guys. And so, but
Yeah.
on the other hand, stats
Paterka
don't
is
lie.
sick, dude. Paterka is gonna be good for us, dude.
Yeah, I think he is too.
That Ryan Smith going on McAfee, dude. I know he's been on there a while, but he might be the greatest ambassador we've ever had to Utah. Feel what you want about him, but they were just glazing Utah for 30 minutes.
Oh yeah,
It was
Like,
awesome.
No, I my hope is, especially now with the hockey here, I don't know how it's going to go with the NBA because it feels like Ace Bailey, is going to play 6 years and then it's going to be like they already have odds out on what his next team is going to be, and of course the
Yeah.
Lakers have like the the best odds on the whole thing.
Always,
But
dude.
hockey is going to be a different animal here.
Yeah.
like I'm going to piss some people off and say that NHL Utah is going to run the hockey world in about 10 years.
Let's go.
We've got this fucking shit.
I mean, it's just math, dude. It's like if you're used to living in inner city Atlanta and you move to Utah, that's a culture shock. But if you grew up in fucking St. Petersburg, Russia, Salt Lake is a pretty nice little town.
Oh yeah,
You
this is
know?
a nice balmy climate compared to
Exactly. Like I'm
you
used
know.
to being in Winnipeg, freezing my nuts off. I
Yeah.
can come out down here for a mild winter.
Well, and you got a great owner who's going to provide every luxury and the clubhouse. You're going to get the nice hotels. He's like that's part of the Ryan Smith SEG reputation is taking the best care of our guys.
Yeah.
So
Dude.
that's going to get around for sure. Yeah, look, everybody in the draft was excited to be coming to Utah.
Exactly. What do you think of who we got? I all day I was saying Des Noyers. So
Des
shout out
Noyers,
to
yeah.
Tony Finau for the Des Noyer.
Yeah. Yeah, over at Redemption, Brandon and I were talking about he's like, what the fuck is it, Denoyers? I'm like, well, I think it's Denoyer, but I like
Yeah.
Denoyers better. It's kind of a little bit like Destroyer.
But I
Denoyer
was
the
happy-
Destroyer.
I was happy to learn his nickname is Desi. I'm like, okay, I like Desi.
Yeah, that's really easy. Desi's good.
Really easy. Desi's a good one.
I actually, in preparation for this very topic that I knew was going to come up, I researched the pronunciations of all these names of who it is that we drafted.
I can't wait to hear what I call Max Senica.
Pshenitska. Pshenitska. Yeah, Max Pshenitska, right-handed defenseman, gets a lot of Kesselring comparisons, which is odd, seeing how we just
There you
traded
go.
him away. But he's potentially a Kesselring type player. Yeah, Max Pshenitska.
Shenitska.
And then, of course, our third pick was forward Stefan Hoke,
Stefan,
looks like Hoke.
two triangles over the S&P are crazy too.
Yeah. Okay, and then you've got Yegor Borikov, and that's not too difficult. But
Yeah,
here's my
that's easy.
favorite
Yeah,
one though.
yeah.
Okay, did you see the goalie that we drafted, the goalkeeper? This is Ivan Kochkachenka.
Kochkachenka.
Kochkachenka being the last name. Kochkachenka. Ivan Kochkachenka. Yeah, so
Hey.
am I
I know he's
detecting?
gonna be a beast. That's a good name. That's a good
Well,
hockey name, bro.
I know that there's a lot of, Slavs and Russians in the NHL period, but are you noticing that we're drafting a lot of Russian players, or we have a lot of Russian players on the team? Sergachev, Simishev, Boot. Now we've drafted Borikov, and I think Kochkachenka, I believe he is a Russian too. Sorry, I'll have to look into that a little closer, but
He's somewhere from over there.
he's somewhere Eastern Europe, Russia, but it sure
Yeah.
sounds Kochkachenka. That sure sounds Russian to me.
Kochkachenka. That's a sick name. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty bitchin'.
I'd wear that
What'd you
jersey.
think of Caleb Desnoyers? What did you think of that pick? Were you hoping for somebody different, John?
No, I like it. I honestly I didn't really go into it with too much what is it called? I didn't really have too much of an opinion.
Yeah.
I was kind of going off the opinion of people on that I watch on YouTube or whatever. But
yeah.
I was just gonna
Well,
say,
that's just
from
it.
what
We
I-
could sit here and pretend that we're experts, and I really saw this
Yeah.
and this, and then, we're all just regurgitating what we've heard from
exactly. I know he's
from-
won a lot. He's won every fucking competition he's been in. He won the under 18, the over 18s, the under 20s.
Yeah.
He won the team a bunch of stuff with Team Canada. So hey, I like a winner.
Yeah, well, and he makes that really clear that he wants to win.
Yeah.
The day of the draft, he's already talking about, I want to win the Stanley Cup with Utah. And the other thing that I think is going to really endear him to the Utah fan base, besides just that he's got a big, likable personality, people are saying, he's going to be
so cool.
Yeah, he's going to be a fan favorite once you get to know him, is what everybody says. But his latest thing, which it probably isn't very likely, but this is what he's saying the day after the draft, which is my goal is to make the club first year. He wants to get done with developmental camp, and he wants to be on the NHL
that.
roster
I love
in
that.
October. I mean, good luck. That's probably not going to
Yeah.
happen, but just to have
I
that
like
attitude.
that attitude. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Desnoyers as probably having the highest floor of the top
Yeah.
5 or so, but that's what we need is we've got our center of the future.
Yeah, and I watched. It was one of those player things where they were interviewing a bunch of the players in the draft, and they were like, "Oh, who's gonna most likely to be a coach? Who's most likely to win a Stanley Cup?"
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
saw
them
that
picked
too.
Desnoyers. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
a
his
good sign.
teammates love him. I think
Yeah.
we should be pretty excited about the pick, but definitely top 6 potential. But when your line is Keller, Cooley, Gunther,
Yeah,
and-
we got some dogs on there right now.
Yeah, and then even going back to the Peterka thing that we were talking about, look at our second line, at least, and if we don't pick up somebody else, you're looking at Peterka, Hayton, and Nick Schmaltz. That doesn't suck either.
Yeah, that's awesome too.
Our top 6 is pretty close to being elite, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
I mean, we're like we said last time, we're definitely knocking on a wild card.
I think that it's a fucking slam dunk, man. But that's
Hey,
me being
but
a
you
homer
didn't-
optimist.
But you didn't mention my guy in the draft, the 7th rounder, Rekko Alanko from Finland.
Yeah, that's right.
6'5" defenseman.
Big, he's gonna chip off the old blood. What are you 6'5" or 6'6",
yeah,
John?
Yeah, I'm around there.
You big ass fucking Finns.
No, I just had my little list right here. I was like, "Hey, Leroy, come on, let's go shout out the Finn."
Yeah, let's get the Finn in the argument. So I don't know. Great draft.
Dude, I'm super pumped on it, and from what I've read, we did pretty good.
I heard a couple A- grades for our draft. Now, about the draft, this was the first year that it was a decentralized draft.
Right.
And I don't know about you. Where did you watch the draft? Have we even talked about that? Where were you draft night?
I was at Big Willie's.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah, because
You were at Big Willie's. I was out at Redemption.
Yeah, so I didn't have time. I was planning on coming out there, but it was at 5, and I got off work like 4:45. So I'm like,
It's not the distance, because I know, especially some of you
if I
downtown.
knew that the draft was going to be 5 hours long, I would have done the drive.
Well, and some of you downtown motherfuckers are like, oh, it's all the way out in Harriman. It's too fucking far. I'm like, fuck you guys. I drive to the Delta Center from Harriman 42 fucking nights a year at least. And so
when we went to Copperton, I was like, damn, Brandon is a sav for coming out.
Way the hell out here. Yeah. Yeah. No, but okay. So, okay. You were Big Willie's. I was at Redemption. So we were both watching it on the TV.
I want to make sure I was the only one in there wearing Mammoth gear, and I was the only one that requested the draft to be turned on. But my girlfriend was there in Mammoth gear, so that was lit. She was just working the bar, but we held it down.
Well, and it's not the distance at 5 o'clock at night to get out to the same place.
It's
out here. Especially east to west traffic, getting out to the southwest side, but getting anywhere at 5 p.m. on a Friday afternoon is tough.
Oh,
so you kind of got to find the closest place and go. So what did you think of the draft broadcast?
Okay. Let's put it this way. At first, for the very first pick, when I saw the countdown clock at 3 minutes, I was like, okay, the NHL's got it figured out, because I hate the 20 minutes that the NFL takes. And then 30 minutes later, when the second pick's clock started, I was like, this is all some for gays, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just not impressed.
It felt a little awkward to me to have a player get drafted, and then you walk him down the hall in the other room in front of a large TV screen where his new bosses are looking at him through a television screen. It reminded me of those 3 criminals in the original Superman movie who get locked in like the screen that is flying through space. I'm like, this is so awkward. I mean, especially after Schaefer, that number 1 pick, gets drafted. Who, by the way, I thought that was such a class act on the Islanders' part, is to put the lavender ribbon.
I choked up a little. I'm not gonna lie.
That was beautiful, man. I mean, and that kid is hurting and everything. And then they walk him down the hallway to interview this really impersonal these guys on a fucking screen. So that was weird.
To be fair though, now that you mention that, I didn't have the sound on because the bartender, when I requested the draft, they were like, do you want the sound? I was like, I'm the only one that wants to watch it. They can have.
You're like, nah, never mind.
So I didn't get that part. So I just scrolled Twitter.
So you didn't have the sound up when the cringiest part of the draft came on, which ashamedly, that's when Utah came up to pick.
Oh, I did see. Oh, okay, yeah. When Tony Finau did that.
Tony Finau oh my God. Like everyone was like looking at each other like, the fuck is he talking? Chi-Hu, what the hell is this?
That's like a Samoan like call. I will tell you this, that my friend Manu, who I got into hockey, I took him to his first game, and he ended up taking his family to a couple games after that. I will say the Chi-Hu was sick for them. I really like that.
Was it really?
Yeah, that's like a Pacific Islander like call of endearment.
Is that like a Hawaiian thing or a Tongan thing?
It's just a Polynesian thing. They all do it. You know what I mean?
Huh. Funny, because I've known a lot of Polynesians through my life, and I've never once fucking heard Chi-Hu. But
yeah, they'll do it all the time, like at weddings or stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool for my friend Manu and for the culture. I thought it was dope because there are a lot of Polynesians possibly getting into hockey now that we have it here in Utah. You know?
Yeah, well, that's true. I've heard kefe a lot.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a fuck you and Samoan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's just kind of so let's put it this way. I officiated a wedding for Manu's twin brother, Paul. And at the end, when it was like, we pronounce you man and wife, the whole place, chee-hoo!
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Manu was that cat that I met with you over at the day that they announced the Mammoth name. That's that guy that you showed up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I met Manu.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out
okay,
Manu.
so-
he listens to it.
Nice. Manu, welcome to the show. We could get you to call in here. Okay, so in my opinion, I thought the Tony Finau thing was a little cringy,
Yeah.
but the pick turned out great. The draft was a little a little awkward. Like I brought my wife to the bar and she was like, "This is weird."
Yeah.
Not the bar, but the way they did the draft. I thought
Yeah.
Bettman without a microphone and without a podium, kind of standing around like a stand-up comedian. I thought that was a little wonky.
That was a little weird, I will say that.
That was a little weird.
Well, going off of that, Leroy, everyone who's listening probably knows that we added a hotline, right? And so
Yeah.
you said, what do I think about the drafts? And so shout out to Mammoth Almanac. He left us a question about
Let's
the
hear it.
draft, and I would love to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah, let's get it. Mammoth Almanac. Hit us, Jerry. Let's hear it.
Leroy, John, this is Mammoth Almanac. I really have a rant. I haven't even been drinking. But I think we got to go back to a centralized draft. That was something last night. The Big Brother screen, watching the draft picks. That's all.
All right. So what makes a centralized draft then? Because I don't know what that term means. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say I don't know what that means.
Okay,
I'll be the one that sounds like an idiot for everyone out
Okay.
there that does not know.
No, it's good. Okay, so here's the centralized draft is when Bill Armstrong and Chris Armstrong and all of the King's horses and all the King's men get in a plane, land in LAX, drive to the Sheraton Theater, and you have everybody from all the different organizations in the same room.
Okay.
With all of the draft picks or whoever in the audience and everybody. That's a centralized draft, which is everybody in the same place. And, it's supposed to make it easier to communicate, facilitate trades between one team or another. And this year, it was all of the team's brass stayed home and watched it by remote and presumably called or communicated by whatever non-in-person methods, which is why you had the guys get drafted and then have to go talk to their new bosses on a big screen TV because
that is awkward.
yeah, and the worry was that it was going to discourage trades, and the NHL said no, it's not, it's going to be fine. And I don't know if it had anything to do with it or not, but there was not a lot of in-draft trading this year. I don't know if that's the reason or it has anything to do with it. But, yeah, so this is the way they're trying to do it from now on, from what I understand.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking on, I was convinced that we were going to trade that fourth pick. And maybe it's because I was watching the betting numbers in Vegas.
Well, did Vegas had that we were going to trade that pick?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, not really, but it was kind of suspicious.
Well, based on murmurings by Elliot Freeman and Frank Cervelli and everybody, I was convinced earlier in the day that we were going to trade number 4 to the Islanders for Noah Dobson, who ended up going.
Yeah, we were talking about
and he
that.
ended up going to the Canadians. Post note on the Canadians, they're going to be good. They're not fucking around anymore with picks and rebuilding.
The
like
Habs are pissed.
They didn't suck in the playoffs this year, but if you look at all the young talent they have, especially on the defense with Dotson and Demidov, and now like Dobson is in the equation. Like Hudson is what I meant, not Dobson. But at any rate, they got a lot of great young defenders. Like they didn't suck in the playoffs this year. I think the Canadians are going to start getting really good and be good for years to come. But
that's good for Canadians fans. So
none of that went down for us, and quite frankly, most people I've talked to didn't want Noah Dobson anyways. But so that's my take on the decentralized draft and kind of why it was
that makes sense.
A little weird, yeah.
I'll agree to that.
Who else did we have on the hotline?
We've had a couple people. This next one, we kind of already answered, but I'm going to play it. Whoever this is, you didn't say your name. So DM me on Twitter so I can put you into something that we're about to talk about later. But here we go. We're going to play this guy's question.
Hey, guys, I really want to know, what is your take on us losing Kesselring and Doan? I don't know. Is this guy coming from Buffalo really worth it? All right. Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work.
Completely and totally worth it. Doan and Kesselring, like I mentioned before, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but the truth is they're spare parts. Doan was never going to be a top 6 guy. He's not an offensive guy. I mean, he's a leader and he's a great presence and he comes from, NHL heritage. But Doan had his shot at that wing position on the second line this year, and he didn't do anything with it. And he's going to get better. He's young. He'll improve, but he's never going to be the type of player Peterka was. And as far as Kesselring is concerned, listen, we've got a loaded defense. With you still have Maverick Lamoureux and Dmitry Simashev trying to make the team. There's a log jam there, and so I think getting rid of Kesselring, it's going to get Kesselring more minutes. He's going to have second-line defensive minutes where he was a third-line defenseman with Utah. So it's good for Kesselring, and quite honestly, it's good for Doan because he's going to get more minutes in a more depressed franchise than we have going on right now. Sad to see him go, but the upbeat part of it is that Doan and Kesselring were roommates. And Kesselring has cats, and Doan has dogs, and the cats and the dogs still get to live with each other and be friends. So they didn't break up the family too bad. They have friends in Buffalo. So that's my take.
Couldn't have said it better. I think it's good for us. We need more points, and I think it's really good for Doan and Kesselring. Get more minutes. And improve. You guys are young. I hope nothing but the best for them.
This is the business, guys. Yeah. If you want to be bubble playoff every year, then we can attach ourselves and be a big happy family. But this is a fucking business, and the business is, can you win hockey games and can you put the puck in the back of the net? So this is just the beginning. As sooner or later, someone that's going to break all of our hearts is going to get traded. And
right. Well, and honestly, as a fan, it sucks to lose players, but now, I'm definitely going to, if a Sabres game is on, I'm going to watch for Doan and Kesselring. It's just going to expand your NHL fandom.
Yeah, I was talking to my neighbor, and she was kind of bummed about the Kesselring-Doan thing, and I'm just they didn't die.
Yeah, you can just watch Sabres games.
Yeah, I'm still going to be curious. Oh, the Sabres game's on? Yeah, sure, I'll watch that. I want to see how Kesselring
dope jerseys, dope sweaters.
Always loved the Buffalo Sabres branding, and I love the blue, yellow, and white. I love those.
Yeah, support our boys. Get a Sabres. Just don't wear it to the Delta Center.
Nah, don't do that. Although I know somebody's gonna. But
yeah, definitely.
Okay, right. What else do we got?
We got another good one from here. I'll let him talk.
What's up, boys? This is Matt, attacked by Panda. So, we just had an amazing draft. I'm really happy with the results. Going into free agency now, what do you boys see? What do we still need? Who are we targeting? Who are you guys in love with right now? Love the show. Can't wait to hear the episode. See you, boys.
All right. I'll tell you what I think. Yeah, what's up, Matt? Matt taking this 3-on-3 tournament coming up in July very seriously. He's ready to beat some bitches down on the court. Okay, so what do I think about that? I think, what was the question again? What was the nature of the question?
He said good draft, but any free agents that you're looking at in particular?
Okay, anybody in particular? I'm not sure. I will say this. Doesn't sound like we're in the market for Marner. I'm happy with that. But moreover, if you ask me what I think what we need, here's it. We're still a little undersized.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned on our last show, if you watch the Stanley Cup Finals or even the semifinals, the teams that succeed deep into the playoffs are physical as fuck.
Yeah, they're big.
And so we need, first things first, we need to retain Jack McBain.
Agreed. McBain, dude.
Yeah, we need effective guys on that third and fourth line who are going to be able to wear the opposition down, who are going to be able to stick up for our guys, play hard physical hockey. I think we're going to get into the playoffs next year, but I think we're going to flounder because we haven't got that completely fixed, and we will.
Yeah.
We will eventually. Our youngsters are going to get bigger. I mean, presumably a guy like Maverick Lamoureux, who's 6'6", is going to fill out, and he's going to be a bruiser. And so, but yeah, I think that's what we need to work on. Is we need to work on physical players that can play a 200-foot game. And, offer some size and some support to our more skilled players, which we, are in no shortage of. So that would be my take.
I've seen Eric Ekblad's name bounce around a little bit. The defender out of Florida.
Yeah. And there was a minute that, there's guys floating around.
We got about, 20 mil in cap? Something like that?
I think we're just short of 15 mil left right now on the cap, but the cap is going up.
Yeah.
My only reservation when it comes to some of these free agents is, it's a chemistry thing. It makes a huge difference. And so there's guys that are going to work and guys that aren't. But I think we're a developmental team, and I think if we take care of Jack McBain, he's going to be your Sam Bennett of the future. He's like,
I agree. I like McBain.
I love McBain. He's not the guy you want to run into in a dark alley.
No.
And so I think guys like that to fill out some of our more skilled offensive players, who I guess that's one of the only knocks on Peterka, is that his defense is a little suspect. But fuck it. We need guys who can score. So, yeah, that's my take on that. Great question, Matt.
Yeah, great. My only take, I really don't know, but I would love to see – I'm kind of excited to see what Connor Ingram's going to do. I hope he's doing better, and I hope he can come back because we miss him on the team.
It's a mystery.
Yeah,
no one will really speak directly to it and where he's out or what to expect, and so that's a little worrisome.
Because if he doesn't come back, Veggie can't play 69 games,
No, and and Stauber and Vialta did all right.
Yeah, they did all right, but
they did. But that very short glance at those guys, and so and I did hear that is going to be, trying to get a backup goalie. The one thing you just don't want to end up is two goalies because it's the same thing as like football. If you've got two quarterbacks, you don't have any quarterback, and so trying to pick up somebody who's good and confident and get the job done, but also is going to be happy with their role.
Hopefully, what was his name? Kochkachuk?
Kochkachenka. Ivan Kochkachenka.
Hopefully he pans out for us then.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll end on this one. We got one more. We got it from the world famous Brandon. Let's listen to what he had to say to us.
All right.
Hey. Fucking, I'm not 14 beers in yet. Hell, I just barely started drinking about an hour ago, even though it's late. But I am close to half a liter of vodka in 2 drinks. But, hey, this is the first of many. But you know what, people? There's something that exists outside of Twitter. For some reason, there's a segment of people, I think, that think Twitter fans are the ultimate hockey fans, and Utah Mammoth are any fans, and nothing else exists. Hell, there's Utah Mammoth fans that are great fans and spend $50,000 a year and probably don't even care about Twitter or on Twitter or know it exists. So that's my first piece of advice. Twitter is not the only source for hockey. And Twitter, as great as it is, and I love it, there's a big old world with 95% of fans on other teams out there that aren't even on Twitter or don't give a fuck about it. So, ban policing on Twitter. That's the first one, boys. I don't know. Like I said, I'm still kind of sober. Yes! What's up, motherfuckers?
That is exactly right.
Amen, brother. Hey,
okay, it's funny, too, because I was just thinking about that, and it's maybe because I was hanging out with Brandon at the draft, and so I might have heard some of this, but I was thinking about it while I was walking through the grocery store just yesterday. There's a guy with a Utah Hockey Club light blue shirt on in one of the aisles, and I come walking by him, and I don't know about you, but anytime I see anybody with Utah Hockey Club gear or Mammoth gear, I kind of perk up a little bit.
Same.
Like the instant.
Dude, I always give a fist bump. dude.
Yeah. And so I see this guy and he's got his thing on it, and I kind of laugh to myself to think if I went up to him and say, "Oh, hey, what's your Twitter handle?"
Yeah.
Like,
You know who I am?
yeah. The majority of people who follow this team and care don't give a fuck about Twitter. They don't know anything about the social media universe. Like, I mean, and my across the hall neighbors that I think I brought up last episode too, they're the same way. Like, they're not following any of this shit, but they're diehards. Like, she's out there walking around every damn day in Utah Mammoth gear, and it's man, what a great post. These absolutely right. Like, we're not the entire conversation, guys, just because it's Twitter, you know.
And I will say, dude, I have so much fun on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, interacting with all the Mammoth fans, because it's a fun connection. And I hated the Facebook group; it was so toxic. And I found Twitter was like more fun, and there's like more people I can get along with. But it's true. This isn't the end all be all. There's thousands of fans that don't even have social media, and we need to remember that.
Yeah. Well, you know.
And if you see something you don't like, guess what? You can just keep scrolling.
Yeah, or mute, whatever. But yeah, there is sometimes, especially during the off season when we're not watching actual hockey, there is some clicky bullshit going on. But
I just don't like that. Don't tell me how to fan. If I want to be a weirdo fan, let me be a weirdo fan.
Are you trying to tell me how to fan by telling you not how to fan?
Like, you should not be doing that.
That's me though. I'm always all about telling people how to fan. That's how I fan. Is telling you what you should or shouldn't be wearing in the fucking Delta Center.
Right? Why are you wearing an away jersey?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, great. So everyone's got their way of doing it. But here's the good news: no matter what kind of bullshit you've got going on with your Twitter rivals or your frenemies or whatever's going on with social media, you know what really happens in October? 17,000 people, regardless of whatever bullshit, get together and cheer their guts off, and we become one enormous mammoth community. And
exactly,
we just got to survive the summer, guys and gals.
And just don't take the internet so seriously, guys.
No,
it's crazy.
People
when I see these threads, I like. Don't get me wrong, I read them because I like some good chisme, but it's like, dude, it's not that serious, man. Like, let's just chill out and have fun and enjoy our team. These are kids, bro.
The written word is so funny, too, because, I don't know, you can read a text message and 3, 4, 5 different people can come up with a completely different context of it based on what mood they're in, which is kind of what I like about people calling into the show. Call us in. Let us hear your voice.
Hey, tell them about the giveaway, Leroy.
Okay, so everybody who called in, and I appreciate you all. Everyone who called in, you have been entered into the merch giveaway. Not our merch. This month, it's going to be a 2025 NHL Draft Hat Utah Mammoth limited edition. We're going to be, anyone who calls in, participates with the show, we are going to put you in the pot, in the pool, in the hat, whatever it is. And at the end of July, we're going to pick a winner, and we're going to give away this fresh looking 2025 NHL Draft Hat.
Sick, dude.
I like the blue and white plastic snapback strap.
Yeah. I like the blue and the white on the front of the brim.
Yeah, the little tip. Yeah, pretty
that's
cool.
Sick, dude. Remember, if you do call in, please leave your name. So the guy who asked us about the Buffalo trade, please DM us at Slapshot Utah so I can put you in the drawing.
Yeah, let us know. Drop your Twitter handle. If you don't have a Twitter handle, just tell us who you are or give us an email or a phone number or anything like that. We will reach out to you. End of July, we're going to give away this 2025 NHL Utah Mammoth Draft Hat. Thank you all for your participation and support.
Hell yeah, love you guys. Go Mammoth.
Slapshot Utah, baby. Let's do it again next week. See y'all.
See ya.